My parents excluded me from family dinner, called me a street cleaner. Unaware I own the restaurant they're celebrating at. Before we dive deeper, may I ask a small favor? Kindly subscribe and also share where you're watching from in the comments. It makes our community feel closer. The group chat notification lit up my phone at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. My sister Monica's message made my stomach drop. Family dinner Saturday at Etoile. Dad's promotion celebration. Dress code formal. 7 p.m. sharp. I stared at those words, waiting for the follow-up message asking if I could make it. Waiting for my mother's typical, "Can't wait to see everyone." Waiting for literally any acknowledgement that I existed. Nothing came. I scrolled up through weeks of family messages. Birthday planning for my nephew. Coordinating Thanksgiving. Every single message thread included me, even if they rarely responded to anything I said. But this one? I wasn't even mentioned. My hands trembled as I typed, "Should I make a reservation too, or?" The 3 dots appeared immediately. My mother's response came through. "This is for immediate family only, sweetie. You understand." Immediate family. The words felt like a slap. I'd been cleaning their houses for the past 6 years through my janitorial service, watching them climb corporate ladders while I scrubbed their toilets. My brother Eugene had his law firm. Monica ran her boutique marketing agency. Me. I was the family embarrassment. Since when am I not immediate family? I typed back. "Don't make this difficult," my father chimed in. "It's a high-end establishment. We have a reputation to maintain." My vision blurred with tears. 28 years of being the forgotten daughter, the disappointment, the one they introduced as our youngest without mentioning what I did for a living. But this was different. Because Etoile wasn't just any high-end establishment. It was mine. I remember the exact moment my parents decided I was worthless. I was 19, dropping out of college after my 2nd semester. The scholarship had fallen through and I couldn't afford the tuition. My mother stood in our kitchen, arms crossed, disappointment etched into every line of her face. "So you're just giving up?" she'd said. "Your brother and sister pushed through. They found ways." What she meant was, they'd accepted money from her and Dad. Money they'd refused to give me because I'd chosen State University instead of their precious alma mater. "If you won't take your education seriously, we won't invest in your failures," my father had declared. So I'd gotten a job. Started cleaning offices at night. My father saw me once emptying trash cans in his building. The look on his face, pure shame, burned into my memory. "You're basically a street cleaner," my brother Eugene had joked at Christmas that year. The name stuck. At every family gathering there'd be some comment. "How's the cleaning business?" Said with a smirk. "Make sure you wash your hands before touching the food." Said like I was dirty. My sister Monica was subtler but crueler. She'd talk about her clients, her business trips, then turn to me with fake sweetness. "And how are things with you? Still doing your thing?" For 9 years I'd endured it. I'd built my janitorial company from nothing. 3 employees now, contracts with 12 office buildings. I'd saved every penny, invested carefully. But I'd never told them about my other venture. The restaurant. I'd purchased the failing Etoile 2 years ago through an LLC. Renovated it. Hired a world-class chef. Nobody knew the owner's identity. I'd kept that intentionally private. And now my family was coming to celebrate. Without me. The irony tasted bitter and sweet. I called my best friend Janelle the moment I stopped shaking. She'd been with me since middle school, seen every humiliation my family had dealt me. "They did what?" Her voice pitched high with disbelief. "Girl, please tell me you're going to show up anyway." "Better," I said, a plan forming in my mind. "I'm going to be there. Just not how they expect." "Explain." I could hear the grin in her voice. "I'm going to serve them." The words felt powerful, final. "I'm going to wait their table personally and see if they even recognize me in a server's uniform." Janelle went quiet for a moment. "That's actually genius. But also potentially devastating for you." "Are you sure?" Was I? My therapist, Dr. Williams, had been working with me for 18 months on setting boundaries with my family. You can't control their behavior, she'd said in our last session. But you can control your response to it and your exposure to their toxicity. This felt like both a boundary and a breaking point. I need to see it, I told Janelle. I need to see who they really are when they think I'm just the help. Maybe it'll finally give me the closure to walk away. Or maybe it'll hurt worse than anything they've done before, Janelle warned. Promise me you'll call me after? No matter what happens. I promise. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every family dinner, every graduation they'd attended for my siblings but couldn't make for my GD ceremony. Every Christmas where my gifts were afterthoughts, usually cleaning supplies actually, while Monica got designer bags and Eugene got luxury watches. I thought about my father's promotion. District manager to regional director. Big deal. Worth celebrating. Worth excluding his daughter. My phone buzzed at 3 a.m. A message from my mother in the family group chat. Looking forward to Saturday. Eugene, bring Danielle. Monica, bring Troy. It'll be wonderful having everyone together. Everyone. I wasn't even worth a clarification. I screenshot the message. Saved it. Evidence. Then I started planning. Saturday morning arrived with clear skies and cold determination. I drove to Etoile at 9 a.m. letting myself in through the back entrance. My general manager, Pierre, looked surprised to see me. Boss? I thought you were taking today off. Pierre was a 52-year-old French expatriate who'd worked in 5-star restaurants across Europe. I'd stolen him from a competitor by offering equity and creative freedom. Change of plans, I said. I need to be on the floor tonight. Serving. His eyebrows rose. You want to wait tables? May I ask why? I'd never told anyone at the restaurant about my family. I kept my professional and personal lives completely separate. Personal matter. There's a party of 5 coming at 7. Reservation under Gibson. I want their table. Pierre studied my face. He was perceptive, had managed enough restaurants to recognize emotional landmines. This sounds like it might be complicated. It's necessary, I said. He nodded slowly. Then we'll make sure everything is perfect. Whatever you need. I spent the afternoon reviewing every detail. The menu, seasonal ingredients, locally sourced, dishes that had earned us a mention in 3 food magazines. The wine list, carefully curated, including bottles that cost more than my mother's monthly mortgage payment. The ambience, soft lighting, live piano, fresh flowers on every table. My restaurant. My rules. My moment. At 4 p.m. I changed into the server's uniform. Black slacks, white button-down, black vest, burgundy tie. I pulled my natural hair back into a tight bun, put in my contact lenses instead of my usual glasses. Applied minimal makeup. I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. Professional. Invisible. Perfect. You don't have to do this, I whispered to my reflection. You could just refuse them service. You could reveal yourself as the owner and watch them squirm. But that wasn't enough. I needed to witness them. Needed to see the casual cruelty they'd show to someone they perceived as beneath them. Needed proof that I wasn't crazy for feeling erased. They walked in at 7:03 p.m., a perfect family portrait. My father wore his navy suit, the expensive one. My mother had on the pearl necklace my grandmother left her, the one she'd promised to pass to me before deciding I wouldn't appreciate its value. Monica looked stunning in a red dress, her fiancé Troy beside her in a tailored charcoal suit. Eugene and his wife Danielle completed the picture, both dressed like they'd stepped from a fashion magazine. I stood near the host stand, heart hammering against my ribs. Pierre greeted them warmly. Reservation for Gibson, my father said, voice booming with self-importance. We're celebrating tonight. Congratulations, Pierre responded smoothly. Right this way. He caught my eye briefly, a question there. I nodded once. He led them to the table I'd specifically prepared. A corner spot with excellent ambience but positioned so I could easily observe from the kitchen. I gave them 10 minutes to settle, to scan the menus, to start their performance of being a happy, complete family. Then I approached, notepad in hand, wearing a polite smile. Good evening, I said, keeping my voice slightly higher than normal. My name is Nadia and I'll be your server tonight. Can I start you off with drinks or appetizers? My mother looked up first. Her eyes passed over me without a flicker of recognition. Yes, we'll have a bottle of the Chateau Margaux, the 2015. That was a $700 bottle. I wrote it down without reaction. My father didn't even look at me. Bring us the tasting menu. All 5 courses. We're celebrating my promotion. Wonderful, I said. Congratulations, sir. Eugene glanced at me the way you'd glance at furniture. Is it true you have oysters flown in from the coast daily? Sir. Today's are from Washington, harvested yesterday morning. We'll start with a dozen, he said, then turned back to his conversation without acknowledging my presence further. I stood there for one more second waiting for someone to squint, to pause, to say, "You look familiar." Nothing. I was invisible. I delivered their wine with steady hands, performed the tasting ritual for my father. He swirled, sniffed, sipped, and nodded curtly. Acceptable. The bottle cost more than my first car. As I poured for everyone, their conversation flowed around me like I was a ghost. My mother raised her glass. To Michael's success. Regional director at 49. We're so proud. They clinked glasses. Smiled. My sister Monica leaned forward, voice carrying. You know what makes this even better? The whole family together. All of us. I fumbled the wine bottle slightly. Caught it. Nobody noticed. Well, almost all of us, Eugene said, and my heart stopped. But then he continued, wish Grandma Jean could see this, Dad. She always said you'd go far. They were toasting to family. Complete family. While I stood right there, invisible. The appetizers came out. Oysters, butternut squash soup, seared scallops. I described each dish with professional detachment while my insides twisted. My father tasted his soup, made an approving sound but never said thank you. My mother sent back her scallops because they were slightly overcooked. They weren't. I'd watched Chef Eugene prepare them perfectly, but I smiled and apologized. So unprofessional, my mother muttered to Monica as I walked away. Overcooked at a place like this? In the kitchen, Pierre touched my shoulder. You're pale. Take a moment. I'm fine, I said, but my voice cracked. No, you're not. He handed me water. Whatever they did to you, whoever they are, they're not worth this. But they were. They were my family. The people who should have loved me unconditionally but had spent years teaching me I was conditional. Worth loving only if I met their standards. And I'd failed that test by being poor, by cleaning for a living, by existing outside their perfect picture. I went back out for the main course. Prime ribeye, herb-crusted lamb, Chilean sea bass. I placed each plate carefully, recited the descriptions I'd memorized. My father cut into his steak. Chewed. Swallowed. Looked up at me and said, tell the chef this is mediocre. I've had better at steakhouses half this price. The comment about the steak nearly broke me. I knew that cut 42-day dry-aged prime beef from a farm I'd personally visited. Chef Eugene had prepared it perfectly, medium rare with a herb-crusted exterior. But I smiled and said, I'll pass along your feedback, sir. In the kitchen, Chef Eugene heard what my father had said. His face reddened. That man wouldn't know good steak if it danced on his tongue. Who is he? Nobody, I whispered. He's nobody. But that was a lie. He was my father. The man who'd taught me to ride a bike, who'd once called me his little star. Before I'd failed him by being ordinary. Before I'd embarrassed him by being poor. I returned to their table for the next course. As I reached for my mother's empty plate, she jerked it away. Careful. These plates are probably worth more than your monthly rent. The words hit like a physical blow. Monica laughed. Mom, be nice. She's just doing her job. Barely, my father muttered. The service here is subpar. I expected better for these prices. I wanted to scream. Wanted to slam their bill down and show them I owned every napkin, every fork, every crystal glass they were touching. But I stood frozen, holding plates, being invisible. Eugene's wife Danielle was the only one who met my eyes. Thank you, she said softly. The food is beautiful. It was the first kindness any of them had shown. I nodded, throat tight. Back at the table, Monica was showing photos on her phone. This is the venue for our engagement party next month. 200 guests. Open bar. It's going to be incredible. That's our Monica, my mother beamed. Always planning something spectacular. She got my event planning skills. And Eugene got my business sense, my father added. District attorney before 35. Impressive. They went around the table celebrating each other's achievements. Nobody mentioned the missing daughter. The one who wasn't invited. The one serving their food. Then my mother said something that changed everything. You know what's sad? We have this beautiful family, these successful children, and then there's, well, we don't talk about that disappointment anymore, do we? Mom, Monica said, but she was smiling. I'm serious. Some children just don't have the drive. The ambition. My hands shook as I cleared dessert plates. They'd ordered everything. Chocolate soufflé, crème brûlée, the chef's special seasonal tart. My mother complained the soufflé was too rich. My father said the portions were pretentious. Eugene checked his watch twice, sighing like he had more important places to be. Should we tell them? Monica said suddenly, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper that carried perfectly to where I stood at the nearby service station. Tell us what? My mother leaned in. Monica glanced around, right past me, ensuring privacy. Troy and I drove past that strip mall on Jefferson Street last week. You know, where the dollar store and that sketchy laundromat are. My blood ran cold. My janitorial company's office was on Jefferson Street. We saw her, Monica continued, coming out of one of those units with a mop bucket. She was wearing this awful uniform, hair all over the place. Troy didn't recognize her, but I did immediately. Oh God, my mother said. You didn't let her see you, did you? Of course not. We drove right past. But honestly, Mom, it's been 9 years. 9 years and she's still cleaning toilets. At some point you have to accept that some people are just limited. Limited, my father repeated, testing the word. That's kinder than I'd phrase it. I tried to help her. Offered to make calls, get her interviews at respectable companies. She refused. That was a lie. He'd made one call to a friend who'd offered me a receptionist position paying minimum wage. When I'd explained I made more running my own business, he'd called me ungrateful. The stubbornness is what kills me, my mother said. She could have swallowed her pride, accepted our help, made something of herself. Instead she chose that. Eugene spoke up. You know what Dad said when he saw her at his building that night? He said, I have 2 children now. The third one died when she decided mediocrity was acceptable. The words hit me like bullets. I gripped the edge of the service station, knuckles white. Eugene, Danielle said quietly. That's harsh. It's honest, he replied. Sometimes the truth is harsh. Some people are meant to succeed and some are meant to serve. That's just reality. I made my decision. I walked to their table with their check, placed it in the center. My father picked it up, his eyes widening slightly. $1,200? For what we received, this is absurd. I'm sorry you feel that way, sir, I said, my voice steady now. Come. However, I think you'll find the prices clearly listed on the menu you ordered from. My mother waved her hand dismissively. Just bring the card reader, girl. We don't have all night. Actually, I said, before I process your payment, I have something to tell you. My father looked up, irritated. What? The service tonight, which you called subpar. The steak you called mediocre. The scallops that were overcooked. The portions that were pretentious. I paused, letting each word land. I'll be sure to tell the owner about your concerns. Good, my mother snapped. Someone needs to know their staff is inadequate. Oh, she knows. I pulled off my server's apron slowly, deliberately. She's known for quite some time that some people will never see quality, even when it's right in front of them. Eugene squinted at me. Wait, why are you? I'm the owner, I said clearly. My name is Nadia Gibson. I'm your daughter, your sister. And for the past 2 hours I've been invisible to you. Just like I've been invisible my entire life. The silence that fell over the table was deafening. My mother's face went through shock, disbelief, and then something ugly, embarrassment. Nadia. Monica whispered. What are you doing here? I work here. I own here. I gestured around the restaurant. Every table, every chair, every piece of artwork on these walls. I bought this place 2 years ago. Renovated it. Built it into the restaurant that got mentioned in Food and Wine magazine last month. The one you chose to celebrate at. Without me. My father stood up abruptly. This is ridiculous. You're a janitor. I'm a business owner, I corrected. 2 businesses, actually. The janitorial company you mock? It grosses $500,000 annually. This restaurant? We cleared $200,000 in profit last year. But you've never asked. Never cared. You just assumed the street cleaner could never be anything more. You're lying, my mother said, but her voice wavered. If you owned this place, you would have told us. Would I? I asked. When exactly? During the family gatherings where you introduce me as our youngest and change the subject? Or maybe at Christmas, when you give me cleaning supplies as gifts while Monica gets jewelry. Tell me, Mom, when should I have shared my success with people who've made it clear I'm an embarrassment? We never said that, Eugene interjected. You said it tonight. At this table. You said Dad told people he has 2 children now because I died when I chose mediocrity. You said some people are meant to succeed and others are meant to serve. I was standing right there, Eugene. Right there, and you didn't even see me. Danielle put her hand over her mouth. Oh my God. Nadia, we didn't know. That's the point, I cut her off. You didn't know because you didn't see. None of you did. Pierre appeared at my shoulder. Boss? Is everything all right? Boss? My father repeated, face reddening. She's making this up. Some kind of revenge fantasy for not being invited to dinner. I assure you she's not, Pierre said calmly. Nadia purchased this establishment 2 years ago. She's been an exemplary owner, fair, innovative, and deeply committed to excellence. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have other guests to attend to. My mother's face had gone pale. Nadia, sweetheart, I think there's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, I said. You excluded me from this dinner because you were ashamed of me. Because in your eyes I'm just a street cleaner. Someone who doesn't fit your image of success. Well, guess what? I don't need your image anymore. Monica reached for my hand. I stepped back. Don't. You laughed when Mom called me a disappointment. You drove past me on Jefferson Street and hid rather than say hello to your own sister. You don't get to touch me now. That's not fair, Monica protested. You're taking everything out of context. Am I? Then let me provide context. I pulled out my phone, opened the family group chat, and read aloud. This is for immediate family only, sweetie. You understand. That's what Mom wrote when I asked about tonight. Immediate family. As if I was adopted. As if I don't share your blood. The surrounding tables had gone quiet. Other diners were watching now, the drama unfolding like dinner theater. Lower your voice, my father hissed. You're making a scene. I'm making a scene? I laughed, bitter and sharp. I've been silent for 28 years. I've taken every insult, every dismissive comment, every forgotten birthday and excluded holiday. I've watched you celebrate Eugene's law degree and Monica's business while barely acknowledging my existence. And now you want me quiet. This isn't the place, my mother said, eyes darting to the other diners. But it's the perfect place. It's my place. Let me tell you what's going to happen now. I straightened my shoulders. You're going to pay your bill. The full $1,200, including the automatic 20% gratuity I'm adding for my server's excellent service. Then you're going to leave. And you're never going to contact me again. Nadia, please. Monica stood up. Can we talk about this somewhere private? No. Because you know what I realized tonight? I don't want to talk about it. I've been trying to talk to you for years and you've never listened. You've never seen me. So why would now be different? Eugene tried a different approach. Look, if we hurt your feelings, we apologize. But you have to understand we didn't recognize you. You looked different in that uniform. I looked different? My voice rose. I looked exactly like myself. You just never bothered to actually look at me. Do you know how many family dinners I've attended where you've talked over me, interrupted me, dismissed my opinions? I've been invisible for so long that wearing a server's uniform didn't change anything. Danielle was crying quietly. She was newer to the family, had only married Eugene 2 years ago. For what it's worth, she said softly, I'm sorry. I didn't know any of this history, but that doesn't excuse not seeing you tonight. It was the first genuine apology. I nodded at her. Thank you. So that's it, my father said, standing now. You're cutting us off over one missed dinner invitation? One. The word came out strangled. You think this is about one dinner? This is about a lifetime of being told I'm not good enough. This is about every achievement you've dismissed, every dream you've mocked, every time you've made me feel small. I want to tell you a story, I said, voice breaking now. When I was 19 and dropped out of college, do you remember what you told me, Dad? His face was stone. I told you the truth. That you were wasting your potential. You told me I was worthless. You said if I couldn't even finish college, I'd never amount to anything. You said you were ashamed to call me your daughter. The tears came now, hot and angry. I was 19 years old and my father told me I was worthless. I was trying to motivate you, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. You destroyed me. I spent years believing I was exactly what you said, worthless. I built this business, this life in spite of you. Every success I've had has been despite your voice in my head telling me I wasn't good enough. My mother stood, reaching for me. Nadia, honey, we love you. We've always loved you. No. I stepped back. You love the idea of loving me. You love telling people you have 3 children. But you don't love me. Because if you did, you would have seen me tonight. You would have recognized your own daughter standing 2 feet away. This is emotional manipulation, Eugene said. You're acting like we're monsters because we didn't recognize you in disguise. I wasn't in disguise. I was in a uniform. Working. The same way I've been working my entire adult life while you all climbed ladders I was never invited to. I pulled out their bill again, held it out. $1,200. That's what this dinner cost. Do you know what it cost me? Everything. It cost me the last shred of hope that my family might actually see me someday. Monica was crying now too. We can fix this. As a family, we can work through this. We're not a family, I said quietly. We're people who share DNA. Family doesn't exclude each other. Family doesn't mock each other's livelihoods. Family doesn't stand by while one member is called a disappointment. Pierre returned with the card reader. My father snatched it, inserted his card, jabbed the buttons. The transaction went through. We're leaving, he announced. And when you're ready to apologize for this embarrassing display, you know where to find us. I won't be apologizing, I said. Or finding you. Goodbye. They left in silence. The restaurant slowly returned to its normal rhythm, though several diners stopped by my table afterward to offer support. You're incredibly brave, one woman said. I wish I had your courage. But I didn't feel brave. I felt shattered. Pierre closed the restaurant early at my request. We sat in the empty dining room, me still in my server's uniform, him with 2 glasses of whiskey. You did the right thing, he said. Did I? I just blew up my entire family on the dining room floor. They blew up your family years ago. You just finally acknowledged it. I called Janelle like I'd promised. She arrived 20 minutes later, found me crying in the office. Oh, honey, she said, wrapping me in her arms. I'm so sorry. I thought it would feel good, I sobbed. Showing them. Proving them wrong. But it just hurts. Because you still love them. That's the tragedy of toxic families. The love doesn't just disappear. 3 days later, Monica texted, we need to talk. Please. I didn't respond. My mother called 16 times. I blocked her number. My father sent an email. You owe us an apology for your unprofessional behavior. I didn't reply. A week after the dinner, I received a letter. From Danielle. I can't speak for the others, she wrote, but I see you now. I'm sorry I didn't before. You deserved better. You deserve better. I framed that letter. Last month I sold the restaurant. Too many memories haunted those walls. I'm opening a new place across town. Fresh start, new concept. My janitorial business is thriving. I bought a house. Adopted a dog. Started dating someone who thinks my work ethic is attractive, not embarrassing. I see my therapist twice a week now. Do you regret confronting them? Dr. Williams asked recently. No, I said. I regret needing to. Sometimes I drive past the restaurant, see new owners running it successfully. Sometimes I wonder if my family thinks of me, if they've told people the truth about that night or if they've rewritten it in their minds. I hope they remember. I hope it haunts them. I hope they see servers now and wonder if one might be someone they should have loved better. Because the saddest part wasn't that they didn't recognize me in a uniform. It's that they never really knew me at all. And now they never will. If you've ever felt invisible to people who should see you, leave a comment below. Your story matters. You matter. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more real stories about family, betrayal, and finding your own worth. The end came not with reconciliation but with acceptance. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from people who can't see your value. Sometimes family is something you build, not something you're born into. And sometimes, the only closure you get is the closure you give yourself.